Welcome to another episode of Football Scientific with me, Aaron Sauter. I'm a writer for the UFL News Hub and the CFL News Hub. I cover the San Antonio Brahmas of the UFL, the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the CFL, the Indoor Football League, the IFL, the National Arena League, the NAL, and the ELF, the European League of Football. This is Timmy, the trash-talking Tiger Shark. What up, yo? I am Timmy. I am the co-host. That's right, he's my co-host. Timmy, the trash-talking Tiger Shark, is bringing it strong here on a Friday night. Whoop, whoop. Okay, first, to kick us off, I have some San Antonio Brahmas news. This evening, the San Antonio Brahmas officially announced that quarterback Kelln Mond will be their starting quarterback for the 2025 season. They also have Kevin Hogan as a backup quarterback. They have Jarrett Guarantano as another backup quarterback. But the starter, as I predicted in an article I wrote earlier today about the Brahmas roster, was that Kelln Mond would be the starter. I wrote that article before the announcement, announcing that Kelln Mond would be the starter. He was the only obvious choice, man. You don't start Kevin Hogan, who's super old, 36 years old in the UFL. You don't start Jarrett Guarantano, who's super young in the UFL and has only taken a butt kicking when he played for the Houston Roughnecks last year, okay? So the only option is Kelln Mond, but the San Antonio Brahmas verified it. Nice job, San Antonio. Whoop. Okay, some other movements that happen in the UFL. The DC Defenders, okay, so originally on their cut list, they put wide receiver Cornell Powell, okay? He was on their cut list yesterday. I think it was the first one I read yesterday. Cut from the team. But he's still with the team. What? How'd you cut him and he's still with the team? So there's some miscommunication there. He's still with the team, and instead, they replaced him with defensive end Nelson Caesar. Nelson Caesar is released instead. So Cornell Powell's still in the team. He did not get cut by the DC Defenders. Also from DC, they signed defensive tackle Niall Scott, who had played for them previously, did not go to training camp, but has been added for week 1. Defensive tackle Niall Scott, so much for training camp being important for the DC Defenders, as they signed a guy after training camp, after cuts. If I was another DC Defender, I'd be a little offended. You don't have to cut a training camp and you still get to be a player on this team. That sounds shady, man. They've also added defensive end Kyle Phillips. The Arlington Renegades. They re-signed another guy who did not go to training camp but has been re-signed by Arlington Renegades is Devion Smith. Okay, last year he was the starting running back for Arlington Renegades. Like I said, he did not come to training camp, but they have re-signed him today for week 1. Over the last couple seasons, he had rushed for 800 plus yards and 10 touchdowns. He's their best running back, but he wasn't at training camp. Once again, if I was a player in training camp that got cut, and now another guy gets signed and didn't go to training camp, what's the value of training camp? Why are we even doing training camp if we're just going to sign a guy after training camp is done after the cuts? I'm glad the Brahmas are not shady like these other teams, okay? The other teams are shady, guys. Shady. Okay? Michigan Panthers. They still don't know who their starting quarterback's going to be. Their head coach said, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Maybe you'll be the quarterback. Maybe you'll be the quarterback. It's hard to say. Maybe a fan will be the quarterback. No, he's saying Danny Etling and Bryce Perkins are going to split the first game against the Memphis Showboats. And there's an old saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you've got no quarterbacks, okay? And I've been mentioning, I felt like for the Michigan Panthers, good offensive line, good defensive line, horrible secondary, no quarterback. They're going to be a 6-win team most likely because of that offensive line, defensive line, okay? They have no idea who the quarterback's going to be. Danny Etling or Bryce Perkins. Honestly, if I had to pick between those two, I would just puke in a trash can instead. That would be gross. They have to pick between Danny Etling from Purdue and Bryce Perkins from the Ivy League. I think he went to Ivy League. I don't know. All right, either way, what a disgusting time to be a Michigan Panther. Bleh, bleh. Hey, Corky the Crocodile, how do you feel about the Michigan Panthers? Bleh, bleh, bleh. I want to get sick. I'm already green because I'm thinking about the Michigan Panthers quarterback situation. Bleh, bleh. It's gross. It's so gross. What are they thinking? Why don't they just pick a quarterback? Why don't you just pick a quarterback? Why are we being so B-League about this? Why does this gotta be a Bush League move? Calm down, Timmy. You can't be calling the UFL Bush League. I don't know what to say. I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. Calm down, Timmy. Shut up. Okay, Corky. Don't hit me again. Don't hit me again. No, don't hit me again. Okay, calm down, Timmy. Corky, don't hit him again. Remember last time you hit Timmy? He was out for 2 days. He was in the emergency room. I know. I bob like a butterfly and sting like a bee. You know what I'm saying? The Dula and Manila. Okay, calm down, Corky. Okay. Next, the DC Defenders have an interesting situation. So a story was released today on Football Scoop, which is a reputable journalism website, I guess, for coaching. They said head coach Reggie Barlow of the DC Defenders is the lead candidate to take over the head coaching position at Tennessee State University, an FCS school in Nashville, okay? And a lot of that makes sense. Reggie Barlow would probably be an outstanding Tennessee State University coach, okay? He's used to working on a small budget. Tennessee State University has some budget problems. That's why they need a head coach, okay? So, I think he would be a really good fit for that. The problem is, if he becomes the head coach of the Tennessee State University, then who's the head coach of the DC Defenders? And I said, I don't care who the coach is of the DC Defenders. Make it Greg Williams. I like Greg Williams. Make him the head coach. Here's the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. He had a losing record. He was the head coach of the Washington Commander, Red Commander. Oh, he had a losing record. Oh, yeah. Maybe he shouldn't be the head coach. Maybe Greg Williams shouldn't be the head coach of these Defenders. Oh, I wouldn't mind it because I want to see him lose anyway. Okay. Also, there was a weird offshoot that AF1 commissioner, AF1, yuck, their commissioner Jeff Fisher, who used to be the Tennessee Titans head coach, was also the lead candidate to be hired by Tennessee State University, which would fix the problem for DC. You would just get Jeff Fisher. But obviously, I don't know if you know anything about Tennessee State, it's an HBCU. I would say Jeff Fisher is the least good candidate for that. Not only because of his appearance, but because when he coached for the Tennessee Titans, he got everyone used to 500 records. And Tennessee State wants to be better than a 500 team, I guarantee it. If you hire Jeff Fisher, welcome to mediocrity. Well, they should not go broke anymore, maybe. Mediocrity, going broke, it's hard to say. But Jeff Fisher denies all claims that he's going to go to Tennessee State. He's like, no, man, I'm the commissioner of the AF1. And while the Corpus Christi Tritons don't pay their players when they're supposed to, we're still a league. We're a league. We're a league. Even though the Albany Firebirds destroyed the Southwest Kansas Storm, who's supposed to be pretty good, 78-20. They're still a league for now. Maybe Jeff Fisher should be getting his resume ready. Boop. All right, next. I have my UFL Power Rankings based on these movements I saw today. These are my UFL Pre-Season Powe Rankings officially, okay? This is what I'm going to use for my predictions for Week 1. If you're looking at my IFL, NAL predictions, please do not judge me. So far this weekend has been a rough weekend. I'm hoping to break 500. We'll see how it goes, okay? Green Bay Blizzard didn't do what they're supposed to do. They lost by 2 to Quad City. And Columbus Lions are a lot better than I thought they were. They're much better than Carolina. Now I know. Okay, we'll talk about that on Sunday. We'll review all those scores and my record, but not the best. But with that in mind, honestly, I'm way better at the UFL. I'm way better at the UFL, okay? That's my story. I'm sticking to it. So here's my power rankings, preseason power rankings for the UFL going into Week 1. Number 1 is the Birmingham Stallions. Boom, they're the kings of spring football. The three-peat, 2 USL championships and 1 UFL championship until someone knocks them off. officially knocks them off, probably in the playoffs. They're going to keep being number one. They have a great offensive line. They have a great running game. They have a great defensive line. They have a good secondary. Their quarterback positions are only weakness. Hopefully that falls apart quickly with Alex Magoo, who's pretty good at the UFL level, and Matt Corral, who's playing for his football career, and Case Cookus, who's just happy he doesn't have to play against the Birmingham Stallions. He doesn't want to keep getting hit by Birmingham. I'm sure after last year he keeps having nightmares about Birmingham. But it's in Birmingham, so it's confusing. All right, number 1, Birmingham Stallions. Number 2, San Antonio Brahmas. Boop, whoop, whoop. Let's go San Antonio. Whoop, whoop. Horns forward. Whoop, whoop. Okay, and like I said, they officially named Kelln Mond as their quarterback. I think that's a great move. Let's go San Antonio. Let's blow up the Arlington Renegades to start week 1, okay? I have an article about their roster today on UFL News, so check it out if you want to learn more about the San Antonio Brahmas roster. Okay, next, number 3, the DC Defenders. I had them lower. I had the St. Louis Battlehawks here, but then I heard some reports coming out of St. Louis that their quarterback position is up in the air, okay? They got Max Duggan, bleh, 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 and they got Manny Wilkins, who lost me the fantasy UFL Riders Fantasy Championship last year. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Both quarterbacks are a horrible choice. Both quarterbacks are a horrible choice. That's who to shoot. They got another quarterback, Cordero, Chevron Cordero or whatever. Okay, but they said no, he is not the guy. Chevron Cordero is not the. Today was a very honest Friday. We'll get into more details on that in a second. They said no, Cordero, you are not the guy. It's either going to be Max Duggan or it's going to be Manny Wilkins. Both of which are going to lead to the St. Louis to a 3-7 record. That'd be awesome. 3-7 record. Whoop, whoop. Okay, Corky. All right. So I got number 3, DC Defenders. Why? Process of elimination. You're out of teams almost, and I don't want the Arlington Renegades to be a good team. So, I mean, they're annoying. I find Bob Stoops annoying. Okay, number 4, the Michigan Panthers. Number 4, I think they're going to make the playoffs in the USFL division, conference, whatever you call it. I think they're the second best team there. They got a good offensive line. They got a good defensive line. Their quarterback is a dumpster fire, and their defensive backfield is atrocious. But I think the Lions will carry them. I think they'll be able to pick up some wins, okay? Number 5, the Arlington Renegades. Now with their running back. I personally just don't think Bob Stoops has what it takes to be a great spring football coach. No offense to him. He was good at Oklahoma, you know. But since then, he seems disinterested, really, in winning spring football games. He wants to pound the rock. He wants to do play action with Luis Perez. That's all pretty good. He just doesn't seem to be trying that hard, you know. And, you know, the year they were really good in the XFL, they were a 4-win team that lucked their way into a championship game in which they were able to win that, but against the DC Defenders. But that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, and hopefully not. I think the Arlington Renegades, they'll be a tough team, but they will not be a good team. They're going to be tough, but not good. Hopefully, they open with the San Antonio Brahmas. Hopefully, we beat them. Beat them. Yes, let's beat them, okay? The Arlington Renegades are number 5. Number 6, which was once my number 2, is the St. Louis Battlehawks. If at this point you can't tell who your quarterback is, you're not going to be in the top half of this list unless you're the Michigan Panthers. I've already accounted in the Michigan Panthers having a horrible quarterback situation. It's never been good. But the St. Louis Battlehawks had A.J. McCarron. He was the best in the league. Now I have nothing. I have Max Duggan. Yeah, he's been dug in a hole with his career. Let's bury it. Manny Wilkins lost me the UFL Riders Fantasy Championship last year. Come on, Manny. You got to do better. Are you talking or am I talking? Which of us is talking, Corky? I don't know who's talking. All right, I'm Corky going away. I'm talking now, okay? Let's go, Max Duggan and Manny Wilkins. Let's stink up the joint. Let's go, St. Louis. Let's flush the dreams of your fan base. It'll probably kill the UFL, but at least San Antonio won a championship. Whoop, whoop. Let's go. Brahmas, horns forward. Horns forward. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Number 7, we got the Houston Roughnecks. Houston Roughnecks, I don't have them dead last. Everyone else has them dead last. Everyone else thinks they're going to stink. I say they're not going to stink as much as the Memphis Showboats, okay? I got the Houston Roughnecks at 7. If they beat the St. Louis Battlehawks in week 1, that would be pretty cool. I hope they lose the rest of their games. But it'd be pretty cool to beat the St. Louis Battlehawks. Let's go Roughnecks next week. I hope they play the St. Louis. I haven't went over the schedule yet. I hope they play them. I don't know. I guess I gotta check that first. Next, the Memphis Showboats bring up the rear just because they have a coach named Ken Wisenhunt. Why are you gonna hunt Wiz? That's gross. He was with the Arizona Cardinals. He was trash with the Arizona Cardinals. Ken Wisenhunt. Ken Wisenhunt looking for wins. He'd be Wisenhunt. He'd be looking for wins. He's hunting for wins. Do you not understand? Corky, do you understand the joke? Ken Wisenhunt is going to be hunting for wins. Why is he hunting for wins? Wins and hunt. Not Wizen. It is Wisenhunt. I don't know. Showboats are going to stink. Goodbye, Showboats. You only got 2 quarterbacks. They might trade for Grace Cookies. He's going to commit suicide. Hey, I'm sorry. I might get banned for that. I meant to say he might unalive himself because he's going to be seeing the Birmingham Stallions coming at him, and he's going to cry himself to sleep. He's going to say, "Oh no, I got to play for Memphis again? I thought I was free of that trash bin. I thought I was free of that dumpster fire. But no, now I have to play for a guy who hunts Wiz. Ken Wisenhunt. Ew. I hope for Case Cookies' own good, he does not have to play for Ken Wisenhunt. Boogie Roberts will play for Ken Wisenhunt. He will boogie as he hunts for wins. Maybe. He got cut by DC last year and the Brahmas. He's supposed to be cool. I haven't seen it. He's keep getting cut by people. How are you going to be cool when you keep getting cut by people? I don't know. All right. Enough UFL business. Let's get down to the NFL, okay? Kansas City Chiefs, they signed defensive end Charles Omenihu. Okay, he has a 1-year deal, $7 million max deal. That's pretty good for a defensive end. New York Giants, they're signing Broncos wide receiver Little Jordan Humphrey. That's his name. Little Jordan. Little Georgian. L-I-L' Jordan Humphrey. Little Jordan. 1-year deal for the Giants. He'll fit right in. He sounds like someone who doesn't have his life together. Little Jordan. And he's going to go play for the Little Giants. Next, the Giants have also signed linebacker Victor Demulge. I don't know. Demulge. I don't know what it is. He plays for the Giants. Who cares what his name is? Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, Pittsburgh Steelers had Aaron Rodgers come visit. Aaron Rodgers in the Steelers facility. He's talked to some coaches, getting the deal hammered out. Heard the Steelers made an offer 2 weeks ago. So Aaron Rodgers hasn't picked the play for the Steelers. He's like, I don't know, I'm going to shop around, man. I'm going to see what I can get. Because his agent said, David Dunn's his agent. And he said, bro, don't rush because then you have leverage. You have leverage unless every team has a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. David Dunn's an idiot. Don't listen to your agent. He doesn't know what he's talking about. They're not even close to a deal. He hung out for 6 hours. He tried all the applesauce that they have, and he didn't even get a deal. Come on, Aaron Rodgers. Quit messing around with people. Quit messing around with the Steelers. The fans deserve better than that. Wait, no, they don't. Go Bengals. Go Bengals. Let's go. Go Bengals. Who cares about the Steelers? Get Aaron Rodgers. Sign him. And then he can go out there and help your team get 6 wins. And the Bengals can win the division. Woo! Let's go, Bengals. Next, speaking of the Bengals, they totally messed with wide receiver T. Higgins. So remember last week, I mentioned T. Higgins and Jamar Chase got signed to extensions. $161 million amongst the two of them, blah, blah, blah. It turns out T. Higgins' deal was a crapper. It was unpleasant, okay? Here's what happened to T. Higgins' deal. Before he got this extension, he was going to be franchise tagged and get a guaranteed $26.16 million, okay? All right. Then he said, I want an extension. I don't want to get trouble. So they say, we're going to give you an extension. Jamar Chase says, you're number 2, and that's okay. T. Higgins is sitting there going, I'm number 2? And that's like, thanks, Jamar. Thanks, Jamar. But here's the problem with his contract. Okay. So he gets a roster bonus in 2026. Maybe. Okay. That's what he was going to get. He was going to get a roster bonus, 2026. He was going to get a fully guaranteed salary. He's going to get something. He's going to get $10 million for full injury guarantee. If he gets injured, he's getting $10 million guaranteed. Maybe he's planning on getting injured because this contract really stinks other than that. So the only perk of this contract is he gets, 30-some million on paper. But if he gets injured, he only gets $10 million. Okay, full injury guarantee. Also, no matter what happens, the Cincinnati Bengals have set the contract up that after this year, they have full authority over what happens. They have a 2-year option on T. Higgins, and they can decide, do we want to keep him and give him the money that we told him we were going to give him, or do we just give him a small amount and then get rid of him? T. Higgins, your deal was horrible. Whoever is David Dunn, your agent? That guy is an idiot. Do not listen to him. T. Higgins, you were taken as a fool. I remember reading an article. The Bengals said, we're not cheap anymore. Yeah, you're still cheap. You're still cheap. You just have dumber players. No offense, T. Higgins. You just have dumber players, and they can't tell you're being cheap. Pac-Man Jones, speaking of dumb stuff, Pac-Man Jones, for some random reason, bragged he'd been cheating the NFL drug test for 14 years. I've been cheating, yo. I'm not even in the league anymore. I was cheating the whole time. You can tell because he punched somebody during the Bengals playoff game to help them lose to the Steelers. You can tell he was on drugs, okay? NFL couldn't tell, though. But Cam Newton, quarterback Cam Newton, who's equally a mess, he said, nah, man, you made that up, Pac-Man Jones. And guess who cared? Nobody. No one cares about Pac-Man Jones or Cam Newton. Get out of here, Cam Newton. San Francisco 49ers. Quarterback Brock Purdy. He's going to get a deal, it sounds like. He's going to get $55 to $60 million per season for Brock Purdy, a system quarterback that didn't remember the overtime rules in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. $55 to $60 million. He's been on a rookie contract for the last 3-4 years. And now he's going to get paid $55 to $60 million. If the Niners do that, they should all be eliminated. They should all be fired from their jobs. Make Aaron Rodgers the head coach. If they're going to give Brock Purdy $55 to $60 million, make Aaron Rodgers the head coach. You've gotten to the bottom of the barrel. It's over, Rover. The Steelers, during the week, said, we will trade you for Brock Purdy. Sure. Pay Brock Purdy $55 to $60 million, trade him to the Steelers, and then pick up a quarterback that can actually win games without a loaded group of weapons. Okay? Next, the NFL switched their kickoff from the NFL rules to the XFL rules last year. But now the NFL, and I really like it on the Retro Bowl. It's fun to do the kickoff on the Retro Bowl. I like the kickoff in the Elk. They use the same kickoff in the Elk. It's a good kickoff. It's good. It prevents injuries and stuff. But the NFL said, no, man, we're going to take another look at the kickoff rules, and we will potentially vote on making a change at the league meetings at the end of the month. Now, I didn't say which month. It didn't say end of March. It didn't say end of April. I'm assuming it's end of March, end of the month. That's next week. That's not that far away. Why didn't they take a vote now? I don't know. Okay, more bad news for the Bengals. Why is there more bad news for the Bengals? Why are we subjected to this kind of destruction of the Bengals? I don't know, Timmy. I don't know. But pass rusher Trey Hendrickson said, hey, man, I'm going to sit out the 2025 season unless I get a new contract or get traded. And the Bengals responded by saying, what? What did you say, Trey Hendrickson? Yeah, you're going to sit out the season? What? I don't know if that makes any sense for anybody. Why are the Bengals not going to just trade him? Trading, man. You're not going to sign him, I guess. Trading. You're running out of money. Trading. Get something for him. He's going to sit and watch? You're not going to get anything for him? This is why the Bengals are in a constant loop of destruction. This is why they drive me crazy. Okay, other interesting things. The quarterback graveyard in Indianapolis Colts picked up in news. Quarterback Daniel Jones is going to face quarterback Anthony Richardson in a training camp battle, mini camp, training camp battle. And the Colts say, we think this competition will help the situation. Well, it can't hurt the situation. You drafted Anthony Richardson after he played 8 games at Florida, was bad in those 8 games. He looks like Lamar Jackson, so you drafted him with a first-round draft pick. Now you pick up the exact opposite of Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, and you're going to set them face each other. You know who's going to win that matchup? Nobody. Nobody. You know who's going to win that matchup? The AFC South. Because they're all going to watch the Indianapolis Colts implode and be disgustingly bad. I feel bad for Colts fans. I don't usually feel bad for Colts fans because a lot of them are jerks. But and they're fair-weather fans for the most part. They're fair-weather fans. And they go for the Colts when the Colts, not every Colts fan's a fair-weather fan, but a lot of them are. I've been to some of their games for free, and those people were unpleasant. Not all of them, but a few of them. Enough to make it unpleasant. Okay, all right. Detroit Lions, they signed defensive back Avonte Maddox for 1 year. He had played the last 7 years for the Philadelphia Eagles. It'll probably help out the Lions. LA Chargers tight end Colston Loveland. He's visiting the Chargers on Tuesday. Tight end Colston Loveland is going to visit the Chargers on Tuesday. Whatever that means. Miami Dolphins have signed linebacker Willie Gay Jr. He played for the Chiefs. Last year he played 8 games for the Saints. He feels like he's on a downward slope of his career. Perfect time to go to Miami and retire. Let's go to Miami and retire. Buffalo will walk all over the Miami Dolphins. Let's go Buffalo. Boo. Good night, Dolphins. You're about to be in tuna cans. Not Dolphin safe tuna. Goodbye, Dolphins. The Washington Commanders have re-signed offensive tackle Trent Scott. The New Orleans Saints have signed another former Cowboys wide receiver. Brandon Cooks has been signed by the Saints. 2 years, $13 million. Dude on Twitter, Dolph Cleveland, who everyone hates. I don't know why. I don't know Dolph Cleveland. Said, look at this roster for the Saints. And the story with Derek Carr and said, who's going to be able to beat this? Everybody. Hopefully the Bengals. Who they think going to beat them Saints? Everybody. Who they think's going to beat those Bengals? Hopefully not the Bengals. We're our worst enemy. Okay? Yeah. The Houston Texans are continuing to rebuild their offensive line after getting C.J. Stroud pummeled last year. One of the best young quarterbacks in the league getting pummeled because the Houston Texans are just negligent on building their offensive line. They're trying to change that. They have signed offensive tackle Trent Brown. They reached an agreement for a 1-year deal for $3 million. Sounds like a bargain basement offensive tackle. They might be talking to the Bengals on their decision making. Another Bengals decision. Speaking of the Bengals, they have signed offensive guard Lucas Patrick to a 1-year contract. He had played 64 games previously in the NFL for the Packers, Bears, Steelers, and whoever else. Do we really think it's going to work out for the Bengals? They picked up an old guy that's bounced around the league. Feels like a journeyman. I think they should draft some linemen. Maybe. They'll never do that. They're going to draft an edge rusher because they can't get Trey Hendrickson. They're going to draft a tight end they really don't need. And they're not going to get a running back, which they do need desperately. The experts are wrong. They need a running back. I digress. The Seattle Seahawks have signed wide receiver River Craycraft. That's all there is. Arizona Cardinals have signed offensive lineman Royce Newman to a one-year contract and cornerback Jalen Jones to a one-year contract. The New England Patriots have cut more people already. Offensive tackle Caleb Jones, center Lecitus Smith, linebacker Curtis Jacobs, and linebacker Anthony Park. I don't know. San Francisco 49ers have signed quarterback Saron Neal. All right, next, more Seattle Seahawks business. They have re-signed linebacker John Ross. That's probably a good call. He's all right. Las Vegas Raiders. They have called the Seattle Seahawks to call on the availability of running back Kenneth Walker. They have called Kenneth Walker out, and Seattle Seahawks are like, I don't know. Is this Kenneth Walker? Is Kenneth Walker here? I don't know. Call back tomorrow. And the Raiders are like, yes, we'll call back tomorrow. Thanks for your answer. That's no answer. There's no answer. Okay, LA Chargers signing tight end Tyler Conklin. 1 year for $3 million, but if he hits his incentives, he can go to $4.5 million. I personally love incentive-based contracts. Pay you the $3 million, $1.5 more if you make good plays. I like that. I think it's good motivation for players. I'm going to keep repeating that. Big news, New York Giants have signed quarterback Jameis Winston to a 2-year deal. Boom. It looks like the options for Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers are melting away. The Giants have signed Jameis Winston for a 2-year deal. Last year, he played 12 games for the Browns, made some funny sound bites, had a 61.1% completion percentage, threw for 2,121 yards, 13 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. 50-50 on the touchdowns and interceptions. He's 1-to-1 for the most part. You know what you're getting with him. He's going to give you funny sound bites, though. I'm not sure if Jameis Winston and Aaron Rodgers are on the same team. That's going to be officially the silliest team in the league. They're going to have some real stupid conversations. Minnesota Vikings are in discussion with former Tennessee Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill. They're like, bruh, Carson Wentz wants to be a Cleveland Brown. That's weird. We'll take you. You did pretty all right for the Titans. You could be a backup for J.J. McCarthy. And Ryan Tannehill's like, are you going to pay me? Yeah, I'll do it. I like getting paid. I'll move to Minnesota. You play in a dome, right? You play in a dome? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs have signed cornerback Robert Rochelle. He played for the Packers 2024 as a 1-year deal with the Chiefs. Let's see. I already talked about Aaron Rodgers. Yuck. Denver Broncos have hired Jeff Schmedling as their new inside linebackers coach for the Denver Broncos. We'll see if that makes any impact. They have a new linebackers coach. And then finally, to finish this circus, remember the Brahmas have picked Kelln Mond as a quarterback. But to finish this circus involving Aaron Rodgers and this other mess, there's more CFL news. And the CFL got weird. CFL got weird today, okay? First, the non-weird stuff. The Toronto Argonauts have hired Jason Shivers as their co-defensive coordinator. He's also defensive back coach. He's going to join Kevin Iben as their co-defensive coordinator. They've been looking for one. He had previously been an assistant head coach and defense coordinator for Edmonton Elks in 2024. That's not a great resume builder. I was the DC of the Edmonton Elks. Now, on the other side, they make good decisions in their personnel. Well, the MLSE does not seem to care about the Toronto Argonauts as a team. They make really good personnel decisions. So Jason Shivers will probably look really good at defense coordinator. That's sad. Sad for the Tiger Cats. Boo! Boo! Argonauts! Boom. They also hired defensive line coach Greg Marshall, who recently came from the Ottawa Redblacks. He's bounced around the CFL. He's got some experience. That's pretty good. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have not discussed any kind of contract extension with quarterback Zach Collaros. He's bounced around the idea of retiring after playing in 5 straight Grey Cups and losing 3 of them in a row. He's like, maybe I'll retire. Either way, they haven't talked to him about it because the GM of the Blue Bombers, Kyle Walters, has said, hey, man, we don't talk about that in preseason, man. We're not that team. We'll do it after the season. Because you never know what the salary cap's going to be. It went up $400,000 this year. And teams like the Bombers were like, I'm not sure we're going to spend that money, yo. It might not last. It's kind of how the CFL is. You never know what you're going to get. Okay? So they said, hey, man, we're not going to worry about this until after the season. And if Zach Collaros wants to walk, I don't think they care. I think they're like, we'll find another Zach Collaros. Go Bearcats! Go Bearcats, Zach Collaros. Okay, all right. So that's it for that. And then the crazy stuff. The Edmonton Elks GM Ed Hervey has been arguing with former Elks wide receiver Geno Lewis, who left the CFL to go become a college coach because he got so fed up with Ed Hervey of the Edmonton Elks. Well, Ed Hervey said to Geno Lewis in some social media thing, which if you're a professional, you should not be talking trash on social media, first of all. It never leaves there, man. Everyone's going to see it, okay? But I've heard that Ed Hervey's a horrible GM. He was the GM of the Tiger Cats last year. They didn't make the playoffs. I agree, he's a horrible GM. He did win a Grey Cup with the Edmonton Elks previously. I don't know if that was him or Chris Jones and having better personnel. He's the personnel guy. But here's what he said. He said to Geno Lewis, I don't know any superstar players in the CFL. That's why he didn't pay Geno Lewis top money in the CFL. Geno Lewis wanted to be the top paid non-quarterback in the CFL. And Ed Hervey was like, nah, you go get a job somewhere else. And Geno Lewis is like, I can't. No one else is going to pay me that much money. I was expecting you to be stupid, and you're not going to do it. Well, Ed Hervey comes back and says, there are no superstar players in the CFL. You're all just dudes who show up to play. So I'm not going to break the bank, even though he broke the bank for some defensive linemen. I don't know. But while that may have sounded like something smart to say, the CFLPA did not agree. With regards to Ed Hervey, they said, you are insulting and ignorant, the CFLPA said. They said, Ed Hervey, you're insulting and ignorant. Who wants to go to Edmonton? Nobody. They did some grading thing. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats have the coolest stuff. Everyone should want to go play for Hamilton, get the best food. They got the best training, got the best ownership. They're probably going to be ninth in the league and a 9-team league. But they have the best stuff. Edmonton Elks are a dumpster fire. They're insulting and ignorant, said the CFLPA about Ed Hervey. But that doesn't stop people from signing with the Edmonton Elks. Obviously, if you're an American football player and you're trying to get paid somewhere, even the Edmonton Elks is better than not playing somewhere. So they have signed American running back Artavis Pierce, who played at Oregon State. They have signed American defensive back Torrance, who played at Arizona State. And they signed a global kicker, Toshiki Sato, who played in the Japanese X League. Yeah, that's a pro league in Japan. He played for the IBM Big Blue. They're like I'm going to say semi-pro, but they're a corporate league. So you work for a business like IBM Big Blue, and they sponsor the team, and you play for that team. And that's where Toshiki Sato came from. So rather than picking him up in the global draft, they picked him up as a free agent. That's probably a good find. That's good to have. I've heard that punters and kickers are good to pick up in the global situation. Okay. More CFL news. The BC Lions have signed former Arlington Renegades wide receiver and return specialist Juwan Manigo. He was cut by the Arlington Renegades. In 2024, he was second in the UFL in kickoff returns with 962 kickoff return yards. That's pretty good. Arlington Renegades said, we don't need you. So there might be something wrong with you. But the BC Lions, they said, there might be something wrong with you, but we'll get through it. We would like to have you. Okay, so that's good to see. All right, and then last thing, another weird situation in the CFL. A couple months ago, CFL defensive back Mario Houston got charged for domestic violence. Okay, last month the CFL was like, "Hey, Calgary, he played for the Calgary Stampeders. Maybe you should release him. This is going to be some real bad press for us. You should release this guy." And Calgary said, "Okay, we'll release him." Well, now the charges have been dropped. They've been dismissed. He didn't do it. And the charge will be expunged from his record. So they give him a good defensive back because the CFL told him to save some face. He didn't do the domestic violence thing, though. It was just a bunch of made-up stuff. So, I don't know. You got to live with yourself, I guess. I hope the Hamilton Ticats pick him up, honestly. We need some good defensive, but we got some good defensive backs. He'd fit right in. Let's go, Tiger Cats. Let's go, Timmy and Corky. What do you think about that? I think it's pretty cool. All right. And I think it's pretty cool, too. I got kind of excited tonight. I don't know. Hopefully no one's offended by my comments and my jokes. Maybe they're not funny. Maybe they are. I feel bad for Daniel Jones. He's going to go to the Colts, and it's going to be bad. And then Case Cookis, if he has to go back to Memphis, I'm going to cry for him. I watched him last year against the Birmingham Stallions. They beat him down. He looked like a doll being smacked around. I don't want to see him go back to them. That would be sad. Oh well. That's the way it goes. This has been some UFL, NFL, and CFL news. Hopefully, my two picks tomorrow in the IFL NAL win, and I have a winning record at least 500 in both. But we'll see. You never know. You never know. I hope you have a good night. Remember to check out my article on UFL News Hub about the Brahmas roster. Kelln Mond. Woo woo. Check out the CFL News Hub about the Hamilton Ticats. That's me too. You can also check out my Substack, which really just has the same articles as the CFL News Hub. Although I did say how to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and I was right. I did say how to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I would have been right, but the Chiefs didn't do it. The Eagles did what I said, and they won. Good job, Eagles. Super Bowl. You can subscribe and like this video, but if you don't, I probably won't check. So have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Football Scientific in your house.